Yo, and hello, and welcome to the 101st episode of Game Speak Podcast. New episodes go for free every Wednesday in audio format on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and all of your favorite podcast directories, and in video format on YouTube, so you can see us in stunning HD. This show is two childhood BFFs bringing you all things video games. You can find us online at createforsanity.com, where you can listen to episodes, subscribe for behind-the-scenes news, read rad articles, and buy sick t-shirts from our shop. Also, be sure to join the community in the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/GameSpeakPodcast to hang and talk games with other nerds like us. I'm one of your hosts, Jamel Al-Jafra, alongside Brent Bass. the anti-hype man.
The anti-hype man.
Yeah, I just had to let it out, let the negativity flow.
I've started just kind of guessing what you're gonna say, and I'm never right.
Yeah, because I always want to switch it up. When things get too happy,
yeah,
I got to take it real sad.
For some reason, I was 100% sure you were gonna do a robot noise or something,
like a beep,
like a bleep, blorp, bloop.
That's a good one. I'm gonna save that
blast.
one. I feel like I've already done a
you might have
a beep.
Maybe that's why I'm thinking of it.
I'm just gonna start insulting you in between.
Brent, fuck your mother, Bass.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Anyway, so so what's been going on, Brent Bass? Tell me about your life in this past week.
Man, just a lot of hanging out. I watched a UFC fight a couple nights ago, and that was really disappointing.
I think I did too on accident.
It was supposed to be really good, and then it didn't end up being really good.
This could be the wrong thing. I was at Chewy's. It's a great Mexican restaurant, authentic
Nothing
Mexican
wrong with that.
restaurant.
Gotta love Chewy's.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not authentic, but it's pretty amazing. I got me some nice crispy tacos.
Ooh, that
some
sounds good.
Biggie
might get some of those on the way home.
Yeah, and then you should definitely and get their what is it? It's like a ranch sauce. It's like a creamy ranch.
How late
salsa.
is Chewy's open? Is there even one around here?
I think Chewy's goes all night, baby.
Really?
No, they don't. They'll probably go till midnight. I assume they have a bar in there.
Okay.
So the thing is, I'm there. I'm eating Chewy's.
Yeah.
The TV. It's playing some UFC shit going on.
Probably the same fights I watched. Which what happened? Was it girls or boys fighting?
Both. There was boys fighting boys, and then girls started fighting girls. One girl was tall. She had darker skin, she was really tan. I don't know.
Ah, okay. And the other girl had the hair up, right?
Yeah. The blonde hair girl.
Yeah, you saw Courtney Casey and that other girl fight.
See, I just see random fighters.
That was a pretty close fight. That was
pretty intense. I thought the taller-ish girl was gonna just go in there and go ham, but
yeah, the little girl was good. Better, I don't know, better than I thought. She was slated to be the favorite. I'm not sure. I can't remember who actually won that one. Was it the tall girl that won?
I didn't see the end of it.
I can't remember who won. That's how close it was. It wasn't one of them went in and just beat the shit out of the other one. You know what I mean? It was pretty close.
Was it a good fight, though?
Yeah. The best fight of the night was the fight right before, or one of the fights right before the main event. There was this guy, and he's this kind of fat dude, and he's got a big beard. And he was fighting this ripped fucking Mexican dude, and they just fucking stood there and just beat the shit out of each other. Usually in a UFC fight, there's 56 significant strikes thrown, 70 in a really high volume fight. Apparently there was 300 significant strikes thrown in the fight or something.
They're both dead.
One of them might be shit. It was crazy, but
yeah,
the main event only lasted 26 seconds or something.
Dang.
Anyways, but yeah, so
was that the knee guy? The guy that had the knee problem? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Busted his knee.
Who was that guy?
Cain Velasquez.
Okay.
He's really good, or he was really good back in the day, but
he
was off for 2 years, and then he returned, and 26 seconds later his leg buckled underneath him.
You don't not fight for 2 years and then come back and try and just take on some dude.
Well, that's the thing. He didn't just take on some dude. He took on, like, the fucking baddest motherfucker of all time. Like, the guy he's fighting is basically the Incredible Hulk. Like,
well, maybe he thought, like...
He's like 200... Okay, like, Cain Velasquez, the guy who busted his leg, is like 235, 245 pounds or something like that.
That's a lot of weight.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, the 265 pounds is the maximum for the heavyweight limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And Francis, and like he's basically stays 245 pounds all year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cain Velasquez. Francis Ngannou, the guy he's fighting, is 265 pounds, but he has to work to cut down to 265 pounds. You know what I mean? He walks around close to like 280, 300 pounds. You know what I mean? He's
disgusting.
Like all lean muscle. Like he's like
that's brutal. That's like just I can imagine seeing that dude in real life. Like
dude,
what that
he's
would be terrifying.
Monster, bro.
Yeah.
There's like other people in the division that I considered like big guys before that, and he's like ripped their head off. Like it's insane. Like
God. I'm gonna have to watch some of his fights.
Scary dude, man. Anyways, but that's enough about all that. Yeah, this is GameSpeak podcast. Yeah.
Hey, there's a game about the fights and stuff.
Yeah, it's actually that's what's cool about this though. Is like that game actually. I'm sorry, and like the future we live in, where you can patch everything. Like the game gets regular patches, and they're constantly like updating the fighters' stats according to how well they're doing in the UFC now.
That's tight,
which is really cool. Like you'll see some fighters that when the game launched, didn't have very good stats at all, but after they've been knocking out people the past year or two, and like they're like, okay,
hell yeah. So I don't even remember. Really? Oh, I did a bunch of stuff this week. All video game focused, so I can't really talk about it. Yeah, we have to wait till we get to currently playing. So let's jump into the news.
I've been kind of a lazy ass this week, just playing games and stuff.
So, guys, we're gonna jump into the gaming news first off. So, just so you know, we use articles from around the internet, and we don't claim any of the news as our own. Just our commentary on it, We're just talking about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
after we got done with the last week's episode, there was that Nintendo Direct, but other than that, there hasn't been a whole lot of news.
Nothing too big. There's a little bit of stuff, but we'll save the Nintendo for the last piece so we can talk about it.
Yeah, I like that. You want me to kick it off? Let's see.
Yeah, kick it.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is getting a big update. Sorry, energy drink burp. And it's coming to PS4 first this week. Operation Grand Heist adds new characters, outfits, maps, and a lot more. A lengthy trailer sped through all the new content, but it's so jam-packed you could blink and miss something. Grand Heist will bring back the Outrider Specialist and introduce a new Blackout mode map called Ghost Town. That's really interesting. And honestly, the most interesting part about this whole article, because like a whole new map for Blackout mode is a big deal.
That's like adding a new level to Fortnite
PUBG or something. Yeah, for sure. Honestly, and I think that particularly is what gives Black Ops' mode, like, what am I trying to say? Battle Royale mode, like, more credibility than others. If they keep adding maps like PUBG style,
that'd be cool.
But keep the quality of Black Ops, then I think they are still in the race. You know what I mean? Even though they're not doing as well as some of the free to play stuff. I think it'd be smart if they just made the Battle Royale mode of Blackout free to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's no other mode, right? Except for zombies.
There's zombies, and then there's normal multiplayer.
Yeah, but who does that? No, I'm just kidding.
Didn't they talk about it back in the day where they're talking about dividing the 3 parts up and selling them for like $20 a piece or something like that?
No, it was going to be zombies and the multiplayer in one, and then the campaign in the other. But now there's it's like what even is Call of Duty campaign at this point? So like
I think they should split it into 3 parts and sell them all for $20 a piece. You know what I mean? That way, if you want to pay, just buy the full game for $60, you can. But you could also just buy what you want, Because honestly, I'm never going to play the multiplayer. You know, if I bought it, it would be for Blackout and it would be for zombies. You
Isn't
know what
that
I mean?
weird how
And
the
I think
multiplayer was like the biggest thing in the world for like the longest time, and now it like feels so dated.
It
like,
really and how fast it happened. I think it's the Battle Royale thing that changed all that.
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
What I mean? Like,
but
so interesting.
Speaking of Battle Royale, Respawn Entertainment has released a patch for Apex Legends. The patch, which was detailed on Reddit, is available for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
What does it do?
Generally, it is focused on reducing crashes and addressing gameplay bugs. Players on Sony's console should have a more stable experience, as Respawn has addressed an issue with GPU hangs and also resolved crashes that happened when a button was pressed in the loading process. An issue where players would occasionally move slower after a revive has also been resolved, as has one that caused crashes because of Mirage's special ability. Finally, on Xbox One, crashes related to Gibraltar's epic skin have been addressed.
Oh, good. I'm glad they did something for Xbox, because I feel like I've actually had more issues with the servers on my Xbox than I have on my PlayStation. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I haven't really had any issues.
I haven't really had any issues either, but I mean, what little issues I have had have been on Xbox. You know what I mean?
I know on the PlayStation Pro, depending on how many friends you have on your friends list, it'll cause the game to crash every single
Just
match.
on the Pro?
Oh, just on the Pro.
That's so weird. There's a lot of weird problems that happen only with the Pro. I've noticed. Like the OG PlayStation 4 seems to be the more stable experience if you don't care about like graphics and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. And it's a lot of different games like that too.
I don't understand why, but yeah, and they don't mention that they fixed that in this one, so I don't know if they've already fixed it or not. But anyways, what you got, Brent?
Okay, so one thing that kind of flew under the radar this past week is the new Resident Evil 2 Ghost Survivors DLC is out now. So we have basically 3 new little mini campaigns added in for free to your Resident Evil 2 experience. So if you're thinking about picking up Resident Evil 2, probably no better time than now, because you have even more content on top of the already wonderful game.
Yeah, and speaking of Resident Evil, so the PUBG thing is out. I don't know what it is, though. It just popped up on a notification on my phone, like, before we started. I should have looked.
It was like a crossover between PUBG and Resident Evil?
Yeah, but I have no idea what it is, you know?
It's really weird.
But, and I'm sure that's going to fly under the radar and not get very popular, though.
Yeah, poor PUBG, man. They just needed to...
They should just die. No, just kidding.
Honestly, what they should do is start working on a game called PUBG 2 that's, like, better. You know what I mean? Like, they need to make a sequel to PUBG that's just better.
One
I
that's not just plagued with bugs.
Exactly.
And,
they need to start from the ground. They need to start from the ground up and just make it better.
I like it. Just like it's the ground, sir. No, anyway, so Hasbro announced a bunch of Overwatch related collectibles at the New York's Toy Fair. I don't like say Toy Fair.
Toy Fair.
From action figures to Nerf blasters to a game of Monopoly, Hasbro has plenty of Overwatch product all hitting stores this spring.
That sounds fun.
We don't live in a cool place like New York, dude. We can't go to the New York Toy Fair.
We can't do fun things.
The Toy Fair.
Dude, that sounds great.
Yeah, it does. Anyways.
So Hollow Knight developer Tom Cherry has announced a full sequel that's planned for release on Nintendo Switch and PC. Hollow Knight Silk Song was originally DLC for the first game, funded through a Kickstarter stretch goal. It would allow players to take control of a supporting character, Hornet. However, instead of building off of the original Hollow Knight to offer a subchapter or a swapping character mechanic, Team Cherry has opted to take the character to a new location in her own game.
I like that.
Me too. It's almost like, you're asking for a little bit, and they're giving you a lot.
And the only thing you really have to sacrifice is time. You just have to wait a little bit longer, but they're going to give you something so much more fresh.
So much better. Yeah, it's going to be a whole new game. Like, That's awesome.
It's pretty legit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this one, not really game related, but I thought it was interesting. The 90s are back. All That, the Nickelodeon sketch comedy show that launched the career of longtime Saturday Night Live star Kenan Thompson, is making a comeback at the network.
Nice.
And this time, Thompson is helping to spearhead the revival.
Oh, nice. With all his experience with Saturday Night Live, this will probably actually be even better than the original, like... With all that, you
just
know?
Comes back, makes it like super adult, like rated. Says the news comes from Variety, which reports that a new take on the show is in the works with a fresh cast. However, it's expected that some former cast members will appear in one way or another on the all-new All That. What's more, Thompson has signed on as an executive producer on the project.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's going to be great.
Yeah, he says, quote, "It means everything to me," the actor explained. "It was my first job that I ever had. It gave me an opportunity."
Dude, that's awesome. And it really did. It kind of, I mean, it also spawned a whole bunch of other, like, actors. It wasn't just Kenan, like, who else? Like, Amanda Bynes got her start on that shit.
Yeah, a lot of careers that didn't in too greatly, like, not as good as Kenan's.
They got the platform they needed to get, like, their own show afterwards, you know what I mean?
They got that one chick on Workaholics.
Really? Oh, yeah. Whoa! Holy shit!
Well, no, she was in All That. Mary Beth.
Yeah. Mary Beth. God, I always forget about her.
Yeah,
what's her name?
I don't remember. But she's in Workaholics.
There was a bunch of people on that show, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fortnite's weekly challenges for Season 7 have all been released, and the game is now preparing to make the transition to Season 8, which it looks like will involve some earthquakes and cracks in the island. However, that doesn't mean there are no challenges to undertake at all. Quite the opposite, in fact. Developer Epic is keeping the train rolling with overtime challenges released as part of the new 7.4 patch. The first of these challenges are available as of today, February 14th, with more set to unlock every 3 days until February 23rd. In an unexpected twist, however, completing these challenges not only nets you experience and the odd cosmetic unlock, but it also unlocks a free Season 8 Battle Pass. All you have to do is complete 13 of the 20 total challenges. Blah, 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 blah.
And I honestly think that's a response to Apex Legends.
Definitely. I mean, you think about this. Okay. This is like a limited time kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it's directly impacting this release window of Apex. You know what I mean? Like, they're feeling the burn. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's necessarily that they're feeling the burn, but more that they're anticipating a burn. So I think this is more like, okay, let's be proactive rather than reactive. Let's throw this out here and see if we can kind of prevent too much of a loss in the future due to Apex.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely interesting because the battle pass is their moneymaker. I mean, to give away free battle passes is like, you know, that's kind of
it's really free to play.
That's a big deal, you know. And also for those of you listening that are just like, you know, don't have a lot of money and whatnot, go do these challenges if you're into Fortnite. You know what I mean? If you're not fazed by all this new stuff and you're just into Fortnite and you can't help it, go do these challenges because a battle pass is worth so much more than the $10 you would spend on it or whatever. And that's first of all, you're getting like a $10 value if you do this challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once you have a battle pass, you'll earn, you know, V-Bucks throughout the season. You know what I mean? And if you don't spend your V-Bucks, you can just buy another battle pass with your V-Bucks next season. You know what I mean?
Cool.
So, you know, it's really a good investment to do these challenges if you play Fortnite regularly.
For sure. Did you have that's it for news, right?
Yeah, that's all I have.
All right, let's jump into the Nintendo Direct, which was on February 13th, in case you missed it.
So I wrote down like the most important things that happened. I didn't write down every little bitty thing, you know?
I got the full list if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead and go through the full list.
I'll just name it and then we'll just talk about each thing.
I'll stop you on the ones that seem important and we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, so starting off, the Direct was it had like the.
I thought it was a pretty good Direct.
Yeah, I thought it was too, but I don't remember who the guy talking was. It was like Yoshiaki Koizumi.
I don't either.
I don't know who that was.
I don't either, but he was getting right to the point.
He was
like, no, more games.
You gotta do the snap. So they started with their like feature or like what he called it was headlines or like headliners or like I was like, what the hell does that even mean? I didn't understand.
The whole show seemed like headliners to me.
He's like, now for more headlines. I'm like, what the okay, so they're all headlines. But anyway, so we got Dragon Quest, I believe it was Dragon Quest 11S, a bunch of like
a lot of Dragon Quest games, I think, right?
Echoes of an Elusive Age. That's what it was, and it's the definitive edition.
See, I don't give a shit about Dragon Quest, but this is one of those games that a lot of people, it's got a real big cult following, and the people that like it seem to really, really like it and regard it as like one of the better games.
I've played Dragon Age. It's all right.
Dragon Quest, not Dragon Age.
I'm sorry, because it was Age of an Elusive.
Totally
okay. I played Dragon Quest back in the day. I enjoyed it. I'm not a huge JRPG guy.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got to
be
a JRPG guy. Yeah.
But this one, the name is ridiculous. Like the Dragon Quest 11S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition. That's the entire title.
That's way too much.
You can grab that on Switch. I don't know. Honestly, I didn't get these freaking dates. Did you have dates for anything?
No.
I don't. They really didn't even give.
No, they were launching
dates.
it fast, man. Most of the stuff that was like, I think the only thing they really gave a date for was like Joker's. And they said Super Smash Brothers character release, and they said they were going to put an amiibo out for him. Which is kind of cool.
That's pretty dope.
The fact that they're making like the Persona amiibo, they're gonna put Atlas has got to put some kind of Persona game on Switch.
I could see that.
I really hope they put like I would love some kind of package with like 3 and 4 in it. I want some kind of way to play the older games because 5 was great. And I'd love to actually go back and play 5 again, but I want to play the older ones. I've heard people say 4 is just as good as 5.
Because that was the first one I ever heard about was Persona 4, and I was like, why are people talking about this? You know, like
apparently it's great.
That's what
I've
saying.
heard people say the story's better, which is like crazy because 5 is super interesting. You know what I mean?
Well, basically, now I remember. I think it was like one of the head guys at Nintendo of America or whatever said basically everything that was on this Nintendo Direct is going to come out in 2019. I'm sorry. It has a release date for 2019, but they didn't really give too many specific dates. First and foremost, the big one they started with, Super Mario Maker 2.
Yes, I'm excited about this one. This is one that I feel like always should have been on Switch, like from the moment it came out, I'm like, that would be, obviously not the moment it came out, but from the moment the Switch came out, I'm like, Mario, all these ports going to Switch, why haven't they ported Mario Maker?
Because they were working on that sequel, man.
That's awesome. I'm glad we're getting a whole new experience. I really want them to utilize like the touch controls. I think it'd be really fun and easy to just like drag and drop stuff into the level, with the touchscreen,
Yeah, see, my thing about it, it's weird that they added like the whole new Super Mario Bros. Like,
I like that. Look. I like that. They did that in the last one.
Did they?
Yeah.
I feel no. They added the Super Mario. Which one was the one where it was like, up above and like they're kind of walking.
Oh, they did that.
They didn't add that part to it. They just added that look to it, where you could play as the cat or like the.
Oh yeah. They had that
Tanuki.
In the last one.
That's what it was. The Tanuki.
I'm pretty sure they had that in the last one.
I thought that was like something new that they were talking about.
I could be wrong, but from what I remember in the last game, you could switch it between the look of like the really old Mario from like NES.
Yeah.
You could switch it to like the SNES Mario, and then you could switch it to like the 3D Mario from the newer, like Mario Brothers U games or whatever. You know what I mean? The new Super Mario Bros. Games.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I know that they added slants. Like now, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
It was like you can now just add like a slant.
That's awesome.
And slide down it.
I saw Yoshi in there too. I don't know if he was in the last one or not, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was in the last one.
That's pretty exciting to me, man. I can't wait to play all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I always like the idea of Mario Maker. Can you play other people's levels online?
Yes,
that would make
point,
it. I was about to say that. I was like, well, I mean, there's more of a point to it than that. It's like Minecraft or something. You could show your friends and family and have them play your levels and stuff, but it wouldn't be quite as cool.
Yeah, I mean, in this age of the internet, that would be ridiculous.
Well, we're also talking about Nintendo who doesn't have fucking multiplayer on Mario
on the
Party.
Wii U, they had
this
online. That was the problem. It was like you couldn't really. They couldn't. I wonder if they're going to make it to where you could like transfer all the levels you made from the Wii U somehow over to the Switch.
That'd be neat, but I don't see how
they're not going to do it.
Work. Yeah.
Anyways, we got new reveals for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3: The Black Order.
The only thing that interests me about what they were talking about that is they said there's going to be like a dynamic camera mode where you can zoom in on your character and get close to the action.
If you're playing one player.
And I think that's kind of cool, if you because, that camera angle is really the big turnoff for me about those games.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the
Diablo
gameplay I enjoy. And, I kind of like Diablo and I like X-Men and stuff. So, I mean, I think it's not like out of the realm of things that I would be into. They just got to do better than they did in the last one.
Yeah, the last one sucked, dude.
It really did.
I hated that game.
I like the idea of it though. I feel like it could be good,
And the cool thing about this one is that you're able to like use basically every Marvel character ever, unlike in the movies where they have to keep them separate because of like Sony and Fox or whatever and fucking Disney.
Yeah,
now.
it's like imagine that newest Avengers movie if the X-Men licensing had like been able to be used, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude.
It'd be a whole different story if Thanos had to like fight off all the X-Men too, you know what I mean? Like
True that.
I don't know.
I hope they don't ruin that though. Anyways, Logan was amazing.
Logan was really good.
Disney could never do that. No, but anyway, so then we got Box Boy plus Box Girl. I don't know if it's
I don't care about that.
I don't care about that.
It's like an indie game where you're a box boy and you can play it 2-player. Well, if you're playing 2-player, you have a box girl.
Yeah, and that's coming April 26th, 2019. So, yeah, I've figured out I'm able to actually see the dates here. But yeah, a lot of people are excited for that. That game did really well.
I just have way too much amazing shit to play to care about Box Boy and Box Girl.
True.
I really,
now
I just don't.
Now we got more to explore in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Oh, great.
No, so this game actually they added. They completely turned the game into a co-op game.
That's actually really dope.
Yeah, so now you can play the entire game in multiplayer, and then also. They added like 18 new levels. Like that one's a paid DLC. So the extra levels is paid DLC. The co-op thing is just a free update that came out.
That's really sick, actually.
It is. Like, imagine if they just did that to like your favorite. They're just like, oh yeah, by the way, we made it, couch co-op.
That's really cool.
And so basically
anything
they made
that is couch co-op with the Switch is fucking sick to me just because of how accessible it is to like pull off the other controller and hand it to somebody. I love that. I love
super cool.
The multiplayer aspects of the Switch are one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, I agree. And like so basically the 18 levels or whatever, they don't come out for a little bit, but if you go and pre-order it, you get access to a brand new level, like, just right off the bat to kind of get like a little appetizer.
Dude, kind of off topic, but speaking of brand new levels, have you been on the NES games thing recently?
Yeah.
On your Switch? They added the Kirby's Dream Land and stuff.
I know.
Dude.
I got to talk about that in a minute.
Oh man, sorry.
So,
that was pretty cool.
Kirby's Adventure.
Kirby's Adventure, yeah.
So, and then we got Igavania, which I have no idea what Igavania. Oh, it's Igavania.
I think this is like a Castlevania kind of ripoff. Like,
oh no! This is the guy who made Castlevania originally.
Right.
This is his game. I'm sorry. The game is Bloodstain, Ritual of the Night.
Right.
But yeah, so we just saw a little bit of that. It didn't look too good to me, honestly.
No,
from
it
what
kind of looked like just a boring Castlevania ripoff to me. Like,
of his own game.
Of his own game.
But that's coming in the summer.
I feel like that's how a lot of these people's like spiritual successor games kind of come off, like that Mighty Number 9 and stuff like that. I mean,
whack.
It's all right, but it's just like it just feels like a 2-bit cheap version of your own game, you know? I don't know.
It's like try something new.
Yeah.
Do something different. Anyways,
trying to relive that glory day.
Then we got build a new world and battle the Order of Hargon in the game
Hargon?
Yeah, which Dragon Quest Builders 2. Basically.
Okay.
That's coming.
Okay. Another Dragon Quest title.
Yeah, but this is like the Minecraft one. It's like a mix between Minecraft and Dragon Quest.
Still, if you're a fan of the series, you know, this has probably got you mad hyped.
Definitely. I mean? No, a lot of people like this game. But it's coming July 12th. It's going to be up to 4 players. You know, get in there, do some block building bullshit.
Some block building bullshit.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that. But anyways, we also got this weird Disney exclusive, or Disney Nintendo Switch exclusive called Tsum Tsum. Or like, you know, those little weird like pill shaped like
oh yeah, I
like
saw
things?
that. This is gonna be almost like it's like Wii Sports or something, like, but
I wouldn't even call it
or
that.
like Mario Party, but without the party.
It's gonna be like for little kids. Is
Yeah.
basically it's called
It's like mini games.
Disney Tsum Tsum Festival. And so like basically they're, if you go to Target, they have like these boxes like in the toy section with these things in them, and they're adorable, but it's like, what, you know, what's going on here? Anyway, so that's what's happening. And then speaking of toys, basically we're getting an entire Star Wolf, Star Fox campaign mode in Starlink.
I saw that. That's pretty cool. They're adding what? Don't they have Slippy and stuff in there too? Like,
yeah, it's like a full campaign. So yeah, it's very strange. I've never.
That's okay with me. I feel like they realize that the fact that Star Fox is in the game is their biggest selling point, and so they're like, we might as well capitalize on it. You know what I mean? We've already got the rights to use Star Fox. Let's just make this a Star Fox game.
Well, the Star Fox game that came out on Wii U was like an abysmal failure. So like letting this like third party company make like this exclusive Star Fox content is probably the most Star Fox we're gonna get for a while. We probably won't see it from Nintendo anytime soon.
Well, I know the remake they did on 3DS did pretty good, so maybe we'll get something.
But that was way before.
Yeah, you're right.
Before Zero, you know.
Oh man, it's a shame too, because the Switch would be the ultimate platform for some kind of cool Star Fox experience, you know?
Yeah, dude, I agree. And then we got Rune Factory 4 coming to Switch, which this game's been out for a while apparently, but it's coming 2019. It doesn't say an exact date, but then they also pulled like the whole thing where, you know, Nintendo just likes to show you a logo of something and they're like, also, we're working on this diligently, you know, and so they basically said Rune Factory 5 is coming, but they just showed a logo of it and didn't really say anything else about it. But Rune Factory is made by the people who made like the old Harvest Moon games, so it's just like that. But anyways, cool. Let's see what else we got. Oninaki, which I have no idea what Oninaki is. We got a lot of Japanese,
a lot of weird
like
Japanese
RPG
stuff.
games. But slay monsters, save souls, and wield their power. This is the story of one watcher. Players assume the role of a watcher named Kagachi, doing battle by manifesting the souls of demons, which act as the classes found in traditional role-playing games. So that's basically what that game is. It's coming summer 2019.
Cool. I'm glad at least these games are coming out in America, even if they're like Japanese, you know, because a lot of times, like especially with like Sony and stuff, they'll do these Japanese exclusive games. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure. No, and it's something to play. You know, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, then we got some new stuff about Yoshi's Crafted World.
Oh yeah. They have a demo out for that.
Yeah, they were like, oh, and you can play it later tonight, which was weird. It's like, all right. So, but yeah.
There was a lot of that. The direct, right after the direct, there's like all kinds of new shit you could play on the store.
And you can play, you can play the demo now, but the actual release date is March 29th.
It's cool. I mean, like, it looks cool. I don't know. I'm excited about this one. More than I probably should be.
I'll talk. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
We'll talk about this in a little bit.
I feel like okay, good. That's what I would like to hear. And then this one took everyone by surprise, I think. And some people not in a good way, but I think after they probably got their hands on it, they changed their mind. But Tetris 99.
Yes.
So this is basically Tetris Battle Royale. So
another one we'll have to talk about later.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. So it's out. It's free.
It is. No, it's free if you have the Switch Online membership,
which is practically free.
$20 a year. If you got $20 this year, you got it.
I was about to say it's so dirt cheap compared to the other services. So
yeah,
you might as well.
And then we got Dead by Daylight coming to Switch. This is
pretty cool.
Old ass game.
It's a fun though, and it's I don't know, it fits on the Switch,
It's a fun though.
It's one that would be fun to play handheld,
Definitely, it would, and that's coming fall. They didn't really. It bothers me that didn't have a release date. Like, how do you not have a release date for this? But anyways, sorry guys, I have to keep jumping back and forth to my list. So that's
I hope it's like
a
definitive edition or something that comes with all the characters already. You know what I mean? Because like they have so much fucking DLC for that game that it's like. And you have to pay for a fuckload if you want to have all the characters. And there's a lot of cool-ass characters to have. They got, like, Michael
I think it does
Myers
come with all the characters.
So that would be sick. If it came with all the characters already,
I'm assuming.
I'm definitely going to get it if that's the case.
And it looked old and glitchy, as usual. But
yeah, I mean, it's not, like, the most technically sound game in the first place. You know what I mean? None of those games like that really are. It's better than Friday the 13th, I'll tell you that right now. I mean, as far as, like, the glitchiness goes.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, not necessarily as far as the gameplay. Like, they're both have their own little charm to them.
And then the Undertale creator, showed off his like Deltarune game or whatever, which is coming to Switch.
Another one you can play for free right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like a little like chapter
or
something.
The first chapter of it.
And
I think it's going to be like a 5-chapter game like the Telltale games, pretty much.
Yeah, and he said that like the creator guy was like, yeah, I don't know when the next one's coming.
Yeah,
so
we
it
talked
could be
about
forever.
this a while ago. Yeah, it could be a long time before the next one, but that's okay. Apparently, the first chapter is pretty long, so.
Yeah, and then they dropped a demo for Daemon X Machina, which is on Switch right now.
I didn't try that.
You can.
I didn't see it.
I did. I'll talk a little bit about it.
I wasn't even thinking about it.
But see, basically this demo is kind of like a beta. They're like, okay, you can go play it, and then we'll randomly send out surveys to people who download the demo. And then you can give us feedback on it. We want your feedback on what we should do with it and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And then we got some news about Grid Auto Sport coming to Switch, which do I care?
Well, there's not really enough racing games on the Switch as it is, in the defense of Grid Auto Sport. You know what I mean?
I agree. I mean, and it's coming summer 2019. It's the problem is there's no release dates for any of these whack games, but not whack games, but some of them are pretty whack. Anyways, and then Sinuous Sacrifice, Hellblade, that's coming to Switch as well. Which
I need to give that another chance. I played it for a little bit. I got tired of it real quick, but I need to give it another chance. I really do.
And the best place to do that would be Switch.
Yeah.
Because it's handheld.
I love the Switch, man. If I have the option, most of the time I'm going to pick the Switch. I
agree, man.
There's a few exceptions. Like if I'm playing something that's like really high graphical fidelity, like, if I had the option to play like Far Cry 5 on the Switch, I'd probably, pick up my PlayStation.
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
You know what I mean? But like,
where it's going to be smoother. But that's coming spring 2019, so it should be very soon. And then we got Astral Chain, which that one confused me a little bit, but hold on, I'm gonna read a little bit about what it is. So Astral Chain, a brand new action game from Platinum Games, is coming exclusively to the Nintendo Switch system. As part of a police special task force, it's up to you to fight against mysterious alien-like creatures who have invaded the world. Now, I'm trying to remember what that looked like. Oh, it was like definitely very Japanese looking.
Man, I can't even remember. Some of them I just was like, oh my god.
Yeah, a lot of it was not very interesting to watch. Now I remember what this one. This was the one that looked like fucking. It looked like Bayonetta.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think it's actually made by the people who made Bayonetta.
Yeah,
I could be wrong about that. But
why would they release two games that are exactly like Bayonetta? Or I guess
maybe it's just their thing. Maybe they're good at the hack and slash thing, and they just want to,
Well, I guess Bayonetta 3, they don't have a release date, huh? They haven't even shown anything. I thought they did,
didn't they? Or if they don't have a release date, they've definitely announced it and they're talking about it. I mean,
no, they've talked about it,
yeah.
But we haven't heard anything about it in a while. Anyways, to round this shit up,
I think it might already be out.
No, it's not.
You sure?
Yeah, Bayonetta 2 came to the Switch.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, and they were like, and also, we're working on 3. Here's a fucking nothing. And then, okay, here we go. This is the one. This is the big wowie. This is the big wowie here. We got A Legend Reborn on Nintendo Switch, which is The Legend of Zelda. Which one? I just completely it just blanked on me. Hold on. It's Link's Awakening. Sorry, guys.
Which was one of my favorite Game Boy games.
But see, the one that I played was Link's Awakening DX.
Yes, that's the one I played too.
Which
I
think added like
game.
A color dungeon.
Yeah,
something like that. But that's the one that I grew up on.
But I mean, honestly, you're probably gonna get that experience in this game.
They just don't. What if they did the opposite though? What if they gave a colorless dungeon like?
That would be fucking awesome.
It would be.
You go in the dungeon and it just gets old school as fuck looking.
Hell yeah, dude.
That would be really tough.
But I'm really excited about this. A lot of people, I think, were kind of like turned off by the art design.
I like it.
It's so cool.
It's cool. It's got that Wind Waker feel, but like clay. I don't know.
That's what I was about to say. It reminds me of like Yoshi's Crafted World or something like that, but like Zelda, which is exciting to me.
I like how the Zelda gameplay never really changes, but like the camera angle and the art style is like always different. You know what I mean?
Man, I'm so excited for this one though. This is one that
is one of my
really
faves.
Hits home. Yeah, I remember playing the Chain Chomp and the chickens and
the fetch quests in this game are some of the best ever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like when you figure it out, you feel like a fucking genius on some of this stuff. You know what I mean? and a lot of people have brought this up already, but I want to mention it. It's like, does this mean that we will soon be getting new Game Boy like remakes and stuff like that? I hope so, because think about it. We've already gotten 2.
We got 2?
Pokemon Let's Go
that's
Pikachu
true. That's true.
Is basically a yellow remake. I mean, in essence.
What if they do the Pokemon trading card game? Or like anything, you know?
Pokemon trading card game is one of my favorites, bro. And honestly, I think you could make that real sick with like some Switch shit added onto it. You know
I want these little things in between. I want a new
you
Donkey
draw
Kong
your
Country
card
game.
with the touch screen, dude. That'd be sick.
Oh,
dude.
Yeah. It's the future, dude. It's the future. We need it. But I'm super excited for that one. The release date for... Hold on, I gotta check when the release date for that game is. It just said 2019, actually. Coming 2019. So, that was basically everything that they announced.
No, there's also, they announced Final Fantasy 7 coming to Switch.
I thought we knew
Final
about
Fantasy
that.
7
My
and
bad.
9. 7 and 9. 9 came out right after the thing, I think. So you can actually get 9 right now.
I was literally reading this list off of their website. They didn't even mention that.
They also announced Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, which is gonna...
I can just pretend that didn't happen.
Hey, it's in my opinion, this is where Assassin's Creed stopped being super duper repetitive every game. You know what I mean? Like,
it's also the least liked Assassin's Creed game critically.
Nuh-uh, for real?
Yeah.
3?
Yes, 3.
I like 3. I don't care what anybody says. And with 3 remastered, it will also include a remastered copy of Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, which was a standalone PS Vita title. And it will have the Tyranny of the King Washington DLC included.
You know what? I just totally lied about Assassin's Creed 3 being the worst reviewed.
I was about to say, that just can't be right.
Hold on.
The worst one has to be Assassin's Creed Rogue or something like that. You know?
Oh, no, I'm just talking about, like, the mainline
Or maybe
ones.
Assassin's Creed Unity.
So let's see.
Unity was a mainline one, I think. It just didn't have a number.
So, like, if you just go... Okay, so PC Gamer ranked them from worst to best.
Oh, what is it?
So
But this is just PC Gamer's opinion, huh?
Yeah, but I don't know what they're basing it on, but they say the worst one is the first one. And then they say...
yeah, that makes sense. I mean...
And then Liberation, and then Liberation, and then Unity, and then 3. Yeah, so 3 is...
But that's just PC Gamer talking their shit.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, Assassin's Creed 2 was boring as fuck. Assassin's Creed 1 was boring as fuck. And Assassin's Creed 3, I feel like, had an interesting set piece. Maybe that's the thing about 3 is I'm interested in the
revolutionary.
Yeah,
was it Revolutionary War? Or was it?
It was like I think it was
Civil War?
revolutionary. No, it definitely wasn't civil.
That would be intense. Dude.
That would be intense. That would actually be really interesting.
Surprised? Well, not surprised that they didn't do that. But anyways,
not surprised.
It makes sense they chose not to do that.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to not do that.
Anyways.
Oh, did we talk about Fire Emblem 3 Houses?
No, we didn't. How the fuck did we skip
that?
Over
Was
that?
like the biggest thing in the whole...
Yeah, so Fire Emblem 3 Houses got a lot of talk
They talked about it forever, dude. I got to the point where I'm like, okay, we get it. Fire Emblem, you know? There's 3 houses, you know? And it's Fire Emblem.
Yeah, there's like 3, you know.
It looks sweet, though. I love Fire Emblem, you know? It's one of those games where I have no idea what the fuck is going on, like 99% of the time with the story, but the gameplay is so much fun to me. Like, I love that, like, style of gameplay, and particularly with Fire Emblem, you know, and XCOM. Those are the 2 that I, like, really enjoy it with. You know what I mean?
It just makes you feel like you're playing chess virtually.
Yeah.
But with anime characters.
With its own little set of rules, though. You know? Like, every character has their own little direction they can move. It's a lot like chess. You're right.
Yeah.
You know, and when you figure it out and you, like, start, like, learning how to be effective with each character, I don't know, it gets interesting.
Like, I'm so bad at those games, so I just don't even play them.
Me too. I have to play on the easy settings, because, like, if I fucking lose a character and they're dead forever, I am, like, just devastated, dude. I get this, like, just like knots in my stomach. It's like, oh,
that's what I'm saying. I'm too.
They're dead forever.
Permadeath. No, I get so anxious about playing games like that with permadeath and whatnot, so I just don't fucking do it. You know, it ain't for me. But anyways, what else was there? Did we miss anything else?
I think that's all I've got. All the important stuff, anyways. Anything else is like Japanese, like Gundam games and shit. Like, you know.
So what would you rate the overall performance?
Man, I'm pretty happy with it. I give it a 9.
I think I'm gonna give it an 8.
That's real.
Just because I didn't know what to expect, but I did expect at least a little bit of Animal Crossing to be shown. Whether we saw anything about Metroid,
I didn't even think about that.
It's like we didn't see any of the games they've already mentioned were coming, and we didn't see anything about Pokemon.
We know Metroid's got pushed back, like way back. So
Yeah.
I don't expect to see anything about Metroid.
Me either.
A year or two, you know.
But Pokemon, or which is coming out this year.
This is the first of many directs. You know what I mean?
Know,
they
I
do
know.
directs frequently, and usually they're far less interesting than this one, in my opinion.
True.
You know what I mean?
But they usually have one big thing, which like this one was Zelda, but we've gotten so much Zelda recently that
but they know people love Zelda. You know what I mean? They know people are gonna buy it.
I love Zelda.
And honestly, I want a classic Zelda experience. You know, Breath of the Wild is all fun and great, but I lost interest in it.
Me too, very quickly.
And I hate to say that, you know, but it's just, it feels, it's the same reason I lost interest in Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's just too much. It's like, I don't have time for that right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
yeah.
Like, with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I want to go everywhere and do everything, and there's just too much to do.
Yeah, you feel like you're missing out by doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if I'm over here, I'm not over there. And it's like, it's overwhelming. It's not the feeling, like especially with Zelda.
Yeah, because they don't
one of
tell
those
you
things
anything.
that's like, I just want to focus on the objective at hand. You know what I mean? And like, Focus on getting the task done one step at a time. And that's always been the like beauty of a Zelda game to me.
I 100% agree. It's an adventure that's given to you, not an adventure that you create, which is, it's like...
And I like that.
Me too.
Don't get me wrong. Every now and then I like that style, like that sandboxy style of gameplay, but it has to be the right game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Far Cry is a great example. I love the Far Cry games, and I like that element in the Far Cry games, but I don't want it in every game. Sometimes
and they're also not too overwhelming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They know how to give you a lot of freedom, but not overwhelm you with it.
Yeah,
you know
Zelda, Breath of the Wild specifically, I feel like there's no answer to anything. Like you just have to figure it out, which is fine. That's cool. That's a cool idea. But when I want Zelda, like I don't feel, it didn't feel like a Zelda game.
My problem with Breath of the Wild is I literally will stand there for like 4 hours cooking things. Like, and it's like by the time I'm like ready to go on my adventure, it's like I've just been sitting there for 3 hours cooking, and it's like I'm done playing this
and all your
game.
shit breaks. Like I can't stand
like immediately. That. You find a cool sword and you're all excited about it, and then like you hit somebody with it 4 times, and it's just.
They should have patched that and like just been like, you know what, you can just keep these weapons forever, except for the like really strong ones.
Honestly, I think the really strong ones are the one you should be able to keep forever. Like maybe they break and you have to go repair them or something.
But you still have them.
You still have it, yeah. Because that's some bullshit when you get like a really dope ass weapon and you just have to like save it for like a critical moment when you like need it. You know, it's like that's whack. I want to fuck everybody up with my new sword. You know what I mean?
Which is also anxiety inducing. It's like, when do I use this? I shouldn't have fucking wasted that. You know,
right?
But. Anyways.
It's the same kind of anxiety you get from like Resident Evil 2 when you're like trying to like conserve ammo or knives or something, and it's like I don't want that in my Zelda experience. Like
it makes it terrifying.
But I mean, I'm totally not hating. I will eventually play the rest of
I'm not hating. That's
Zelda,
what I was saying. It's a fine game.
It's great. It's a great game, but it's just
it's not what I want from Zelda. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. It's not a typical Zelda game.
I want to be spoon fed my Zelda. You know. Yeah. Even if I have to work for it a little, I still want the spoon feeding, you know?
Yeah. So we're going to jump on over to this week's releases. We got Anno 1800 coming to PC on February 26th for $59.99. Welcome to the dawn of the industrial age. The path you choose will define your world. Are you renovator or exploiter? Suppressor or liberator? It's up to you how the world will remember your name. Anyway, so, yeah. And then we got Remy Lore, Lost Girl and the Lands of Lore, coming to Switch, Xbox One, PS4, and PC on February 26th for $39.99. Remy Lore is an anime-styled roguelite hack-and-slash action-adventure game set in a colorful world where players hack and slash their enemies and cast devastating magic attacks using twin-stick controls. Yeah, so it's a twin-stick shooter.
And a hack and slash.
Yeah. And then we got Dirt Rally 2.0 coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February 26th for $59.99. Dirt Rally 2.0 is the follow-up to the incredible racing game that puts players in control of a collection of the most iconic rally cars against the most challenging stages around the world.
Fun fact, I'm pretty sure that this game is going to have VR support on PC. Mainly because that newest Dirt Rally game that came out had VR support on PlayStation, and it was so good. It's still regarded as one of the better VR titles today.
So, nice.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
And it was like requested by the community so much that they went ahead and put it in the new one, I think.
Dirt Rally 2.0.
Yeah.
And then we got a game called Pode, which sounds like
Chode
or something.
Oh, Chode, yeah.
It really bothers me. It's coming to PS4 on February 19th for $24.99. Pode is the story of a little rock helping a fallen star find its way home.
Oh, God.
That's about as much as I'm going to read on that one. And then we got Anthem. And that's coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC on February 22nd for $59.99.
Got the big AAA there.
Yeah, y'all know what that is. And then we got Stellaris Console Edition coming to PS4, Xbox One on February 26th for $39.99. Explore a vast galaxy full of wonder. Paradox Development Studio. Paradox Development Studio, makers of the Crusader Kings and Europa Universalis series presents Stellaris. They gotta quit. Why do they have words like
Cialis.
this? Universalis. Is Cialis?
I don't know. Like
That's
the
like
erectile
yeah.
dysfunction. Just in a bathtub holding hands. Just like...
An evolution of the grand strategy genre with space exploration at its core. And then we got Chroma Gun VR coming to PSVR on February 19th for $14.99.
I don't know what that is, but I like VR stuff.
Chroma Gun is a first-person puzzler about colors. The basic principle is as easy as applying it is complex. Exit the chambers via the exit doors. Use the Chroma Gun to colorize walls and worker droids to progress in the chambers.
I think there's a flat version of this already that's pretty popular, and it's like basically like Portal. Like, you use your Chroma Gun to solve puzzles.
Yeah, I saw a little clip of it. It looks bad.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Anyway, so we're going to jump on over to... Well, before we jump into currently playing, I'm just going to mention that you can now get Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy for free on your Xbox One or Xbox 360.
Ooh,
if
boy.
You have
I'm about to
gold.
Get that, boy.
Yeah, dude, I got it. Anyway, so we're going to jump on over to currently playing. Brent, take us.
Well, I bet we're playing a lot of the same things. I tried out Yoshi's Crafted World, which was pretty fun. It felt a lot like the N64 Yoshi game to me, except you can play co-op, which is kind of cool.
The co-op did not feel very good to me.
I didn't get a chance to try the co-op, unfortunately.
So, I mean, it's not that it felt bad. The game, honestly, it's not that great in my opinion. Or at least what I've played of it. It feels kind of, it's like cute. It's like, you know, charming and whatnot, but the gameplay itself is like so slow and easy. Like even on the
very easy
on the hard mode. Like imagine if you were just like, I don't even know, trying to play like a Sesame Street game, you know, as an adult. That's
I mean, the
what
Yoshi games have always been kind of easy.
Nah, dude. Super Mario World 2, that wasn't easy. The game was fucking hard.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
It was so good. It was so good. And I guess the one on the N64,
any
Yoshi's
game that's
Island.
actually titled Yoshi something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like, well, I mean, with the exception of Super Mario Bros. 2, Yoshi's Island.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is the only exception. And that game is even pretty easy compared to other games like it at the time. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess. I just like, I don't know. I felt like it was going to be a little bit better. I think I just hyped myself up too much for it. So that was a problem.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I like it, but again, I wasn't expecting like a super challenging experience or anything. I was kind of, you know, same thing with that Kirby Epic Yarn game or whatever, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I like it a lot, and it's not because it's, you know, challenging or anything. I just like that style of gameplay a lot, you know?
For sure.
Let's see what else I've been playing. I've been playing Tetris 99.
Same. So addicting.
So I can't really, I can't figure it out. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, I don't get it. Like, why the fuck are all these bricks piling up in my fucking thing?
Okay, so let me explain Tetris 99 to you.
Can you please?
So, Tetris 99, whenever you play the game, in the center of the screen is your little, you know, your screen. It's you playing your Tetris.
Because I'm good at Tetris. I just don't get it. Like,
now, all those little ones on the left and right side of you are the other 99 players.
Okay, yeah.
Now,
I figured
at the top, it has a little thing that says like KOs, you know what I'm talking about? Like at the top part of the screen. So basically the game, you're trying, every time you knock down more than one line at a time, it sends blocks to other people.
Oh.
Depending on who you choose to send them to.
Oh.
So
somebody's fucking me up. That's what it is.
So if you look down at the bottom, it says watch out. It shows you who's targeting you. So you can choose to target them back, or you can choose to set it on one of those preset ones up at the top that says like KOs, badges, or whatever. So if you set it on KOs, then it'll automatically randomly go to ones that are close to being KO'd and let you try and send your blocks to that person.
That's why I'm particularly getting fucked up then.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing so good that people are targeting me.
Sure. So now the thing is like there's also badges. So for every KO you get another badge.
That shit
and so
pisses me off. Dude.
So whenever you get the badge, but this adds the strategy. So whenever you get down to like the top like 3 players left or whatever, if somebody has more badges than you, you're more than likely fucked, because the badge, it adds like, okay, whenever you send blocks over to somebody else, it's 25% more blocks than what it would be, or it'll be 75% depending on how many badges you have and stuff like that. So it's a game.
That's so much
of
for
skill.
Me. I just like a good old fashioned normal game of Tetris. You know what I mean?
Not in the day and age of Battle Royale. You can't enjoy anything. Anyway, so I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I'm still enjoying. I put 4 hours into it already.
Cool.
And then we got Daemon Ex Machina.
What? I'm still doing mine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were just going back and forth.
No,
on our
I mean
games.
we can if you want. I don't care. Go ahead.
Well, since I know we probably played all the other ones together. This, basically, anyways, Daemon Ex Machina. I got this game, or the demo or whatever, and I spent about like 30 minutes just trying to make you get to customize your little Gundam robot thing, and then your character as well. Well, like I just sat there like going through every little color and like just trying different stuff. It's so customizable color wise and whatnot, but the game itself is trash.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just don't care about that. You know, like any of those kind of games. If you have Ex Machina in your name, in the name of your game, I don't care.
I just thought it would be better, you know. But the thing is like, it's like if you took that Robotech game from back in the day and didn't update it since 2007.
That sounds awful.
Actually, let's go. That game probably came out in 2004. So it's like taking a game from 2004 on the original Xbox, and that's it. Like you just take it, and that's the game.
That sounds really bad. Dude.
It's really bad, and the colors are so like the colors of the maps and stuff are so bland and boring. Like it's just all weird browns.
I hate that.
Chocolatey duty brown, you know. Anyways, so go ahead, Brent. Take us back to the list.
I've been playing Kirby, you know, the old school Kirby on the NES. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I beat it. I beat the entire
you
Kirby's
beat the whole
Adventure.
game? I only played a little bit of it.
So I thought I have to make a statement here, and I apologize for my past hatred of Kirby.
There you go. See, it's tight, huh?
It was really tight.
Kirby's the shit, dude. I love the old school Kirby's. Like, I feel like back in the day, if I was an adult back in the day, you know,
oh yeah, you would have loved.
I would have been playing the shit out of that. You know what I mean?
It was a fun it took me 4 hours and 30 minutes to beat the entire game, but
it's a short little romp, but.
It would have been longer without save states on the Switch.
Dude,
so
for sure,
it made it so much easier. But at the same time, it was still a real challenge. Like it was really hard. But the mini games were fun, like the draw game.
Yeah, and after the end of every level, and you like jump on the thing and it bounces you up, and you try to like catch the ledge. I love that.
Go all the way to the top. Yeah, by the end of it, I was getting an extra life every time.
Hell yeah!
Did you? I mean, you remember the gun draw game, right?
Oh yeah,
not the gun draw. The fist draw, I guess, but where you
like have to push
other.
A before the other one. Yeah.
Oh, dude, so fun! Like every time, I was just
so
like, yes,
far ahead of its time. I feel like
it really was.
It had so much going for it. They figured out how to make Kirby do so much different stuff with only 2 buttons. You know what I mean? Which is really cool. You know what I mean?
That's what I felt about it. I was like, wow, this is really... You can feel the Super Smash Brothers in this.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell. Like,
yeah,
he's
really
already
can.
thinking. But anyways, what else were you playing?
Let's see. I played Apex Legends a lot.
Same.
You know, I can't. You know, I'm just gonna
That'll
add that
continue
to the
for a while,
passive list of games I'm playing forever. And I have been playing a Far Cry New Dawn.
How is it?
I like it a lot more than the reviewers are seeming to like it. Personally, I'm just having a lot of fun with it, man. I really am. To me, it feels like Far Cry 5 2. You know what I mean?
Nice.
That's what it feels like. It just picks up the story of Far Cry 5 like 10 years in the future. But it's like super relevant. If you don't play Far Cry New Dawn unless you've played Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
And Far Cry 5 is on sale so often now, you can probably get both games for the price of a normal game. You know what I mean? That being said, there's a lot of like, they use the same map, but I'm not mad about it. You know what I mean? Out of all the little spin-off games that I've played, like Blood Dragon and Primal, Far Cry New Dawn is easily the best. You know what I mean? They have like RPG elements, like some of the enemies, like all the enemies are ranked from like 1 to 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
4 being like the champion badass rank. You know what I mean? And like animals are the same way. And so like everything's got a little life bar above its head, and when you shoot them, they're like numbers pop off them like Borderlands. So it's interesting to like change it up. And then like halfway through the fucking game, you get like superpowers, which is weird. Like you can like double jump, and like you can like basically turn invisible, or you can like go into like Hulk mode and like punch bears across the fucking map and shit. You know what I mean?
Nice.
It's really fucking fun. It's just like stupid, goofy fun, like Blood Dragon. You know what I mean? But it's also got a kind of interesting like story that like plays on, Far Cry 5 story. The map is like alright, like everything's really pretty. They got flowers everywhere. It's essentially just the same as the original one, but like
just cosmetically different.
The unlocking system is where the game shines, in my opinion. Like there's like I don't know, it's you have to like get resources to like buy guns basically. So you have to have like, say you want this new AK, right? But it's level 3, the AK is. You have to upgrade your workbench to level 3, first of all, which could take, however long. Like, you have to get ethanol, which is, like, the main resource. And to get ethanol, you have to, like, overtake outposts, which has always been, like, a staple of the gameplay of Far Cry, But now you can, like, scrap your outposts to get more ethanol, and then come back and retake the outpost later to get even more ethanol. But, like, every time you scrap an outpost, they like enemies come back in thicker numbers, so it's a little harder to get the outpost next time.
Oh, okay.
But you use the ethanol to upgrade your camp, and like it's such an addicting gameplay loop. Like I'm only on like the 5th or 6th mission because I've spent just hours like fucking trying to upgrade my camp. I've got my whole camp fully upgraded. I've got all my guns. Like, I don't have all the guns. That's what I'm working on now. Actually, before I left to come here, I did, like... Oh, that's another thing. The expedition missions. I did, like, 7 expedition missions in a row. The expedition missions are interesting. There's, like, 9 or so big, like, standalone levels that they've built for this game. And, like, they range from all kinds of weird stuff, like a crashed spaceship to, like a in the middle of the desert in Nevada, to like a nuclear power plant, to like a ship in the middle of the ocean, and this guy flies you out on a helicopter and like drops you in, and basically what you're dealing with is like a huge outpost, okay, and you sneak into the outpost and you steal their shit, and then you have to like get away while they're all trying to kill you. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun, and it adds like a lot of new environments to the game that otherwise you couldn't really explain. You know what I mean? In Montana,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's different and it's interesting, and it gives you an easy, not necessarily an easy way, but like a way where you can always get supplies, so you're not just like frustrated and constantly running around hunting for gears so you can make this weapon or that weapon. You know what I mean? You can just go do an expedition, and then you get enough supplies to get whatever you're trying to get. Usually, you know what I mean?
That sounds tight. It sounds like a entertaining little bout of like a game.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like something too deep. It just sounds like
it's a lot of fun. If you just want something that's just like raw, like fun in its most raw state, that's what it is. Like they take the fun elements of everything, like all the stuff that sounds grindy and stuff in this game. It's like it is, but it's like they took the fun elements of grinding and somehow mashed it into it. You know what I mean? It's like everything feels fun. Like I can't explain it any better than that. Like honestly, the story is like kind of second in my book right now. Like I'm about to go through and do everything, but it's like I don't know, like the first mission, like they come through and they bust everybody's head, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to get my guns like all the way upgraded before I even start doing the real story, you know. And so that's what I did, and my character's like fully perked out, so I'm ready for anything, man. You know.
Damn. Word. And so I've been playing Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Hey, cool.
Decided to buy it since they added the multiplayer aspect
How's
to it. So we started playing. My girlfriend got a little distracted by eating, and then I got a little distracted by playing without her.
Yeah.
And then so because I couldn't wait, you know, so like
Yeah.
I was playing it. From what I've played so far, I'm like on level 8. I mean, I don't know how many levels there are. I imagine a shit ton of them because they're quick little things, but
Yeah.
but they're so you know, like fulfilling whenever you get all 3 of the diamonds, and then you do whatever the little like special thing on the level is, or it's like, oh, finish it in 3, you know, touches, or do this, you know, blah blah. It's like almost like a iPhone game or something, but on like a AAA level. And I really enjoy it, or have enjoyed it so far. But I'll talk more about it next week once I've hopefully beat it by then.
Yeah, I'll definitely have beaten Far Cry by next week too.
You know, just give our roundup review. And then also Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, which
I gotta go back,
yeah.
relive the classic.
It's so old, but it's still good.
That's how I feel about KOTOR. I would go back and play KOTOR like once every like 3 years. I don't know why, I just do it. You know what I mean?
You have to.
And every time I go back, I'm like, oh god, it's so old looking.
I know. It's sad. They need to fucking like just remaster it. Or...
It might not help that I'm playing it on my phone 90% of the time. You know what I mean? I bet if I got the Xbox version, it'd look a little better.
Probably
you know?
not. But they should, because it came
they,
out on
they,
the original Xbox.
They did something to it, though.
Oh, okay,
you know what I mean? They did a lot of those games like that. It probably would help if I had a 1X, you know? I think that some of the old school games got like 1X packages that like make it run at like, you know, fucking 100 frames per second or some bullshit, you know? So it's like...
Yeah. They need to give it the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Oh, dude, that'd be sick.
Fresh paint.
I would love that.
Anyway, so today we're giving you what we promised on last week's episode. We're getting back into the fray of having guests on. We're getting back into the fray of having interviews. This one's more just hanging out with an old friend of the show. And so you guys enjoy that. Hey, everybody. We're here with David Stanley. This is his second time on the show. You guys probably remember him from our Skelattack episode. It was a while back, but he's going to be kind of bringing us back into the fold of, you know, having guests on the show. That way we can get away from our narcissism and, like, you know, me and Brent not talk about our hair and our bodies like we normally do. Brent, go ahead. Or not Brent, but David. See? What did I tell you guys?
Hey, what's up? My name's Brent. My name's David. Dude, it's so good to be back. Yeah, as Jamel said, I work on Skelattack. It's a 2D cartoony animated action platformer coming out on a couple of consoles later this year. Xbox One,
so Nintendo
now? Switch. Yeah, baby.
Ooh.
Yeah, Game Maker. Last year, Game Maker like made it official. Like they were doing a deal with Nintendo to allow Game Maker developers to put their games on the Switch, and I am insanely excited about that.
I actually got a Switch since the last time we talked to you, so I'm excited too. I've been getting all the games that I like Skelattack, you know, like
nice,
like the indie kind of games on my Switch.
Yeah, like Hollow Knight, perhaps.
I don't know. They're more. I just feel like it's fun to be able to carry it around with me. Yeah, I actually have Hollow Knight on my Switch. It's
nice. That's a beautiful looking game.
It is.
God, I'm
nice.
so jealous.
It's no Skelattack, but you know.
Oh, come on. We're trying. We're working on it. Like we are taking cues from a lot of other indies. Not a copying kind of thing, of course, but it's like, wow, these backgrounds are gorgeous. Like how can we step things up to a level where we feel like it can be like a AAA indie, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. I also saw that you have like updated the animations and stuff.
Yeah,
looking smooth.
Man, thank you, dude. Like those old animations for Scully and a lot of the other like NPCs and enemies. I mean, some of that stuff was like 3 years old, and it was, since I was working alone at the time, it was just like I cut a lot of corners just to get a demo out the door. And now that the team has expanded a bit, it's really nice to be able to sit back and focus on really like bringing up the quality on these animations, because you're going to be looking at these characters for a couple of hours, from start to finish. So I really want to make them look as good as possible now.
How expanded are we talking? How many new additions to the team do we have?
God, so we've got another programmer helping me out. His name's Jason Gertner, and he's been amazing. He's been really awesome with like multi-phase boss battles, implementing some other code related things that I just don't have the mental capacity to think about, as well as coming up with his own ideas that have been implemented into the game. I'm still working with the guys from Yakuza, Shane and Doug. But they're taking an even deeper role in development now, and they're crafting like an entire plot-driven story, and they really want to push character development and motivations and lore. Like, I had a really cool like foundation for the game, at like a seed, so to speak, and they're just kind of taking that and like everybody's off in their own corners doing these things, and it's something I never expected, but I feel really comfortable with it,
How are those guys doing as like publishers? Are they just kind of focusing all their energy on you right now, or have they found any other projects? Or
so they Yakuza published one other game, Epic Loon.
Loon.
Yeah, it came out on Nintendo Switch. I can't remember where else. I've kind of had my head down over here. But anyway, yeah, they published that game with a studio from France, I believe. And it was a really cool looking game. I think there were some hiccups and kind of bumps along the way that didn't lead to it being like the smoothest release possible. After that whole thing happened, they were just like, all right, this is some stuff we learned with that release, and we want to like give Skelattack all the love that we possibly can, because publishing is not as easy or as smooth as anybody expects it to be.
Yeah, it's probably a blessing for you guys that they actually had that other experience first, you know what I mean?
Yeah. In a way, I was like, I remember back in the day, I was like, I wanted Skelattack to be the first one. But it really...
I wanted all the problems to happen to my game.
Yeah.
Well, it also builds a little bit of legitimacy to, like, the brand, you know what I mean? Like Yakuza themselves. So, in a way, it helps Skelattack, you know what I mean?
Definitely. Like, it's only going to help this game by, like, seeing what these guys have learned, seeing the hardships and the successes that they had with the other game. So I'm even more excited because, like, all right, sweet. Yakuza can definitely take a game to market, just like they said they could. Now let's make Skelattack.
Yeah, and let's put it on Switch. That's
let's do
really
it.
The only thing I took out of this whole conversation. No,
that's the only word.
You said it's coming on Xbox also?
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
Everything is coming to PS4 too?
So PS4 is like Skelattack as a project has been approved, I believe, to go there. But, it's a money thing, as most things are.
I've heard other people say PS4 is real, like, notoriously, like, difficult to get the,
really?
Stuff approved through, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, that's unfortunate.
What Massive
but, like,
Monster was saying anyways, right? The guys from Massive Monster?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? With, Adventure Pass?
Yes.
Yeah. Man, that's a cool looking game, too.
That was a fun game, yeah. They did a good job on that.
I think as it stands, like, of course, we want to put the game wherever we can. And if the initial release ends up doing well enough, I think we can swing back and, do PS4 as well.
Well, speaking of consoles, let's let everyone know why you're here. So,
I'm angry.
David Stanley's got issues with all of the platform. No, so basically, like, David's gonna do the topic with us today, and he chose the topic. David, can you kind of explain what the topic is, and we'll just kind of go into it, like just a clean little title of what you would call this topic.
Gosh, I don't have a good title.
You're fired.
But it's been a good chat, guys. Bye.
Yeah. Well, that was David Stanley.
David Stanley being clueless as usual when he's being recorded. Essentially, what it comes down to is like, I wish that our online gaming storefronts were just more, I don't know, more concrete, more cemented. Like our storefronts right now for a lot of gaming is just like, hey, we're gonna leave this up for a couple years after we stop manufacturing this console, but beyond that, I don't know. We're gonna shut it down eventually, and if you haven't bought all the games you wanted off of it by then, well, tough luck.
Yeah, so like future proofing.
Exactly. God,
for the consumer though. But
you should have written the title for me.
I just wanted to put you under the gun. That's what we do here. We bring people on, make it really just awkward, and then we leave. No, I'm just kidding. No, I was gonna say, me and Brent talk about this all the time on the show. Like with Destiny, like what's gonna happen to say even the new Battlefront by DICE.
Right.
Eventually, it's just gonna be a big empty ghost of a shell,
especially with, like, multiplayer centric games like
it's been on my mind so much more in recent years, especially like with all the Battlefields and Fortnite and PUBG. Like we're all having a grand time playing these games, but one day we're only going to have like our memories and maybe like some videos on YouTube if we can hunt them down. Like it's just really weird to think about.
Well, I think we've already taken one big step towards future-proofing games, and that is games being digital. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
I think the fact that we have like essentially a digital copy of all of these games, kind of doesn't ensure, but it helps me feel comfortable that in the future it will likely have a way to access them. You know what I mean?
Well, you're right. Like it doesn't ensure, as you said, but yeah, it's certainly a step in the right direction. I think on the heels of that, the next big thing that bugs me is that going between the Nintendo DS, the 3DS, the Wii, the Wii U, maybe not Wii and Wii U, and the Switch. Like they each had their own, unique storefronts. And when that was done, you're just kind of like left out in the cold, it felt like. And I was poking around on PSN because I don't buy a bunch of Sony games. I mean, I love my PS4, but I don't do a lot of shopping.
Yeah.
And I just loved how they had that drop down tab where it's like you can go all the way back and buy like classic PS1 games or PSP games.
Oh yeah.
All from one single place that you don't have to worry about shutting down in 5 or 8 years.
I gotta say, as an owner of all three major consoles, I feel like the PlayStation's store is the most streamlined and like
absolutely
navigate and stuff.
Absolutely. Like after I kind of decided that I wanted to chat about it with you guys, I went back and did a little extra research so I wasn't completely clueless, and I was like, yeah, Sony's got the right idea.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, even though Sony seems to have the idea right now, I mean, we all know we're still going to be getting a PS5, which in turn is going to make the PS4 obsolete at some point, like the PS3, PS2. But the thing is like, when do we stop? When are we like, okay, this is the last stop for these consoles, like maybe, and one thing you mentioned, which to me about the topic, which is upgrading, like having a console that you can potentially forever just update like a PC,
Exactly. Like in the future, I would love to see the gaming industry or the console gaming industry taking a cue from PCs and having their stuff more accessible. If your hard drive fails or if Sony releases a vastly upgraded one like PS5 worthy graphics, buy the thing, pop it in, and keep on rolling. Like I'm sure there are a ton of pitfalls associated with that as well. But
yeah. Well, I mean, one big pitfall is the convenience of the console, in essence, is essentially gone after a few cycles of this, I mean, I think the whole, idea of, the convenience of a console versus a PC is the fact that you just buy a console, and then every game you buy, you'll have no problem running it, There's no...
Absolutely.
There's no worry of, oh, is my graphics card good enough to handle this game? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just, I have a PS4, I can play a PS4 game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. I don't know,
So I thought about that. I thought about that con, and I have an idea. So say there's a console like the Xbox, but everything. So basically, they streamline upgrades. So there's a little switches all over the Xbox that lead directly to whatever it is that you want to change out, and you just pull it out and then you plug the other one in, and it fits flush against the console system. I mean, obviously this would be a evolution in design for the console and for PCs, because I mean, PCs, you still have to open them up, do all that stuff. What if they just streamlined it to where it was another convenient console thing where you could just plug and play, so you buy the new graphics card and it just fits in a slot on the side. You pop out the old one, put that one in.
So this reminds me of a Kickstarter I saw a couple years back. I don't know if it was successful or not, but it was for a modular cell phone. And it was it was going through all this stuff that you were just saying, but, for phones. And it was is your camera old? Do you want to upgrade it and have more megapixels, whatever? Just pop it out, slip this new one in, and it fits. Everything is designed to fit into this phone. If you needed a new, I don't know, a new battery, a new
that also
whatever.
Seems like it'd be convenient if you broke your phone in some way. You could just pop the broken part off and replace it.
Yeah. You smashed, the lens on your camera, you don't have to buy an entirely new phone. You just buy the camera piece.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so a lot of what the PC side of things ends up doing, it feels I don't know, it feels a little bit convoluted to me. I never would feel like I was ready to take on the world of PC gaming. I always felt like there would be something new to buy probably next month that would make something that I've got obsolete.
It's intimidating. It really is.
I wouldn't want that to become a thing with consoles. God, I hope Sony doesn't drop a new thing, next month that's going to completely make this obsolete. But I think if they held off on it for months or years, and then when they finally release that new hard drive, it's guys, this is the PS5 hard drive. Buy this, and whatever games come out, for the PS5 cycle of games, you'll be able to play it on this. We're not gonna nickel and dime you with a bunch of random stupid updates, 3 months down the line.
I'll tell you what, it would be nice if I could just buy a $50 chip and plug it into my PlayStation and upgrade it to a PlayStation Pro. You know what I mean? That would be pretty sweet. And you know what this all kind of reminds me of? And this is kind of a throwback. Do you remember the expansion packs for the N64?
I
little
do.
Red thing that popped in the middle.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I feel like Nintendo was way ahead of their time with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even going back a little bit further to the old fat brick Game Boys. I remember there were a ton of peripheries for it. Not so much to enhance graphics or processing speed or RAM or any of that, but it was I think there was a magnifying glass for the screen.
I was about to say the magnifying glass, that big bulky
yeah,
thing
which there was technically improves graphics.
Yeah, I was going to say, I had one for my Sega Game Gear, and it was so giant. It was bigger than a Nintendo Switch, probably.
But see, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. It's why even leave the house with the thing at that point? You got you got a 10-pound thing weighing you down.
Just sitting there with a TV holding it.
Those are old tube TVs. Yeah, so what you guys are talking about, how Brent was saying, like, you add the chip and it becomes a PS4 Pro. They could easily, level the systems, be like, okay, by this year you'll need to at least buy this chipset to be at the minimum, but what makes it easier than PC is so customizable that, like, it's almost like it's a daunting task to even look into it if you don't already understand PCs or it's not your passion, so I feel like that keeps a lot of people out. But if Microsoft was like, okay, we have 3 tiers, if you buy all the components for this tier, you'll have our lowest requirement system, and it'll play all of our games just in the lowest settings and stuff like that.
Ooh, that's
and
interesting.
You have a medium and then a high.
Yeah, I think they keep it simple like that. I think that would be key,
Yeah, and it's like if they were to combine that idea with what we were discussing, like more streamlined storefronts, it's like, yeah, guys, we've got the PS5 chipset out now that you can buy, but if you don't, hey, it's all good. Like, we're not shutting down your storefronts. We're not making the hardware that you have in your living room obsolete.
Yeah,
just keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah, make it to where you can play the games, but like at a lower setting.
Yeah. The only thing you'd have to do is keep up with the minimum, which would probably be like every 5 years you need to like buy a new chipset or some bullshit. Whatever they want to call it, but or like
the PS6 upgrade. You know what I mean?
Legit.
Yeah,
that'd be tight.
It's partially my age that makes me think of this stuff now, because I'm a patient gamer, like, through and through. I just don't buy things at launch. I don't buy consoles at launch. I mean, I can't afford it. Also, there's like usually bugs that need to be worked out, especially with these games that are just online all the time, multiplayer extravaganzas.
I wish I could say the same thing. I'm so guilty about buying these games when they come out. Like, between Resident Evil and Far Cry, I'm like broke as hell right now.
And yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I want to do it. I just can't.
Same.
I applaud you.
God.
Of you.
Yeah, the storefronts are actually, like Brent was saying, the PlayStation one's pretty good, but now we see that all these consoles are moving towards this like Game Pass, but completely streaming, like you don't install or download anything. Basically, we're reaching that Netflix future of video games.
It's a little bit worrying. Like, I don't want to have a great gaming experience and then only be able to look back on it as a memory. Like when I stream something on Netflix and then, it's there, but I don't own it, and it could be dropped from their service at any time.
And you see that a lot with especially Xbox Game Pass. Like, PlayStation Now is pretty good about putting games on their service and keeping them on the service, but Xbox Game Pass will put a game on for a few months and then take it off,
Yikes.
So really, but in Xbox Game Pass's defense, while a game is on Xbox Game Pass, it's usually on sale as well, so you can purchase the game if you like it and keep it for as long as you want. You know what I mean?
All right, well, that sounds great.
If they could keep that feature, that'd be pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because right now I'm a PS Plus subscriber, which I think is awesome. But I can play any of these free games that I have as long as I remain a member, which it isn't terribly expensive. But still, I have to come to terms with the fact that I'm not going to be a member of this service forever.
Have you tried PlayStation Now? Have you done your free trial
I haven't.
of it? Bro, do you have decent internet?
Yeah, it's all right. I
try it out, man. It's pretty incredible, man. There's like 700 games, and you can just click on any game you want, no download or anything. It just pops right up, and you can play it. I mean,
that sounds awesome, honestly.
And they have a 14-day free trial you can do.
Nice.
If you haven't played Catherine or a bunch of other like big name games like The Last of Us, they have that on there.
Dude, that's I loved that game, absolutely. Like, I would love to play it again because I had borrowed it from my brother.
I love that game too, man. It's so cinematic. Oh,
yeah. A lot of nice little touches that make the whole piece just come together so nicely.
There's moments in that game I still think about like just randomly, like the part where they're walking and the giraffe walks by,
dude. Yeah,
and you just see his head. I think about that a lot for no reason at all. Just like I don't know.
In a game so full of doom, gloom, and death, like that was one of the safest areas. Like that was one of the weirdest areas where, like, I knew I was probably gonna get wrecked pretty soon after, but I felt so safe and like peaceful in that moment.
It was a beautiful moment in a game. It really was. It was.
Yeah. There was a scene like that. There was a scene reminiscent of that, I'll say, in 28 Days Later, where I think it was great. They finally, get out of the city, and they took their friend's car and him and his daughter, and they all just like hit the road. And then they see some wild horses like running through a field, and they're just like, look at them, like they don't.
Something horrible's gonna happen, but it's just pretty wild horses running through the field, and you're like, that was like, a great movie. The sequel was really good too. Kind of off topic, but
I only saw the. Oh yeah, it's all good.
So good.
I only think I saw the sequel like once or twice, and it wasn't terribly memorable. But I'm not going to say it's bad. I just don't know. Like I might have been like hanging out with friends or something. It wasn't as good as the first one,
but I still really enjoyed it. As far as sequels go, you kind of expect them to just be awful. Like especially like zombie movie sequels. But I thought it was decent for what it was. I like that they didn't just take the formula of the first one and put it in a new setting with new characters. They kind of just like they went on from where the first one left off, which that's the best you can ask for with a sequel sometimes. Totally.
Yeah, they totally messed that up with Twilight. No, I'm just kidding.
but guys, anyway. To bring it back around to the modular console idea, where this really starts to break down is when you look at Nintendo and how every console that they do is essentially built from the ground up, reinventing themselves, reinventing how you even play games at a basic level.
Which is really satisfying and really devastating at the same time. Because this future-proofing can't happen if we want the same Nintendo.
Exactly. Like, that's one of the biggest downsides for me is, like, I don't want Nintendo to ever be stifled because they have inspired me more than any other game creator out there. So yeah, I feel like that would be a big blow to them if they had to, okay, we've got this form factor and these dimensions. What can we put in it? Like, I don't even. Where am I supposed to put my 3D screen, guys?
Yeah, it's a little scary to like look at the music industry and how like the transition from physical to digital has hurt a lot of artists. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it's going to be the same kind of thing for like game developers and stuff.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that parallel to the music industry was like big on my mind this morning when I was just kind of like going over all of my notes. And look at like games that only exist in the multiplayer arena, like games that don't even have a single player campaign mode. One day this game is effectively going to just if you only release your game digitally, I don't know, it's very weird. Like I can go back and buy an album that was released in like the 60s, no problem, because it has been digitized and then remade as, a physical embodiment of that work. But so many games are coming out that, you got to connect to the server and that's how you purchase it. And then one day when all of this stuff is obsolete and all of this stuff is just shut down because they've moved on to new servers and new consoles, like, you can't even buy this old game anymore because it only ever existed in a cloud somewhere.
Yeah, I think that actually happened with Xbox Live Arcade. I think there was, it might have been a Double Dragon game that they put out specifically for the Xbox Live Arcade or whatever. And once they moved on to what we have now, that game's gone forever. Like,
that sucks.
You can't get it anywhere physically. It's not in the store anymore. Like, wow. I could be wrong on what title or what game it actually is, but I remember hearing about that and people kind of questioning, what happens at this point, because though it might not have been the best game ever made, but it might have been somebody's favorite game,
Right,
it might have been
right.
I've got a lot of games that are definitely not the best game ever made that I really enjoy,
Yeah. That's really unfortunate, man. And with the rise of like indie devs now, many of us can only release digitally because it's the cheapest, most accessible option. So if we, drop a game on the 3DS eShop and someone absolutely loves it, I mean, sure, those people will always have it if they don't, wipe their card. But I feel like so much great history is being lost because of digital media, but so many more great opportunities are created because of digital media at the same time. So it's really a double-edged sword.
I was about to say it is kind of a flip side to it because, like you said, with the music thing, you can download any song ever from like the 60s. Maybe 30, 40 years from now, there'll be some service like iTunes where you can just download any old game ever made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting?
Or even a service where you just pay and you can just play them all, like iTunes. Who knows what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, that's the way that I'm saying. The only answer to this is to either make everything digital and give us a way to access every single game to where it'll never disappear on us, which has got to be... We got to have an end-all be-all console either for each, or like Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo, or just one that has all of their little home front app on it, which is what I think is slowly happening. If you see the Nintendo and Xbox are getting a little friendly.
For sure. I love to see it, man. I hate I'm all for, friendly competition. It certainly drives sales. It drives innovation. But I think outside of all that, it keeps a lot of people separated. Like if I wanted to play a game with some friends, odds are crossplay has not been supported yet for that game. So I'm not, it's like so many more opportunities to play with my friends. But once again, it's like, the situation it has to be perfect for me to be able to play with them. So it's kind of like I have less friends than I ever did in some cases.
We just call up Sony. I have no friends because of you.
You guys need to all do a 3-way handshake and put out one console to rule them all.
That's what I'm saying. And it kind of makes a difference for people like me who have all the consoles. It's like I prefer to play on my PlayStation, but it's like say for that new Apex game that just came out. I played with Jamel a little bit yesterday, and my character on my Xbox is like, lame as fuck. I don't have any cool costumes or anything for him, and I'm like,
you're
level
just a
8
default skin.
Yeah, I'm whack, but on my PlayStation I've got hella credits, I've got cool skins and stuff, and it's like, man, if I could just play as my PlayStation character, I'd be looking so much more. My stats would be looking better,
Heck yeah, man.
I'd probably be playing better,
Yeah,
I'm sending up some prayers for you, man.
Thanks, brother.
And David, did you hear about Microsoft is putting some form of Xbox Live on the Switch?
What? No.
Yeah, this is a legitimate thing happening.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm out of the loop.
We don't really know
that.
what it is. They just said there's some kind of Xbox. I don't know if it's going to be like a Game Pass type thing, or that'd be cool if they gave you access to the roster of Game Pass games on your Switch.
Wow.
Crackdown 3 or something
Yeah.
Which I heard was pretty bad, by the way.
Man, so it sounds like we're moving in the right direction. Baby steps, but some things are being thought about. Some steps are being taken. Maybe not with maybe a modular console idea is too ambitious, but
I don't think so. I think it's just ambitious enough. Because I think you keep the console thing that the consumers are attached to the idea of, and you also keep a realistic way to move forward in the future with gaming, what I mean, and the advancements in technology.
Yeah, I think a major thing that happened that made me think about a modular idea for consoles was I'm talking like this was my idea and it's never been discussed before, but
it's never been said, David.
This is your idea. Damn it.
Trademark.
We're suing whoever comes.
Like so look at what Nintendo did fairly recently with like the new Nintendo 3DS, and it was just kind of like it had a handful of exclusives that worked off of the new graphics that they had integrated, and I don't know why I said integrated, so weird. It worked off of this new graphics, and it was an entirely new purchase that was like a console amount of money, just to be able to play like Minecraft or like some SNES games off of the eShop, and
they added a C stick, right?
Like
which was also bullshit, because you could just add that little modular piece on the normal 3DS.
See,
that's a very good point.
And I haven't looked at the sales, so I'm kind of like talking out of my ass here, but I'm pretty sure that the sales for the new 3DS were not what Nintendo wanted. Like, I don't think Nintendo fully got like big profits off of that.
I think in that situation, though, they kind of had to pick and choose, because the Wii U had just fell flat on its ass. So they were like, we can either throw what we have into the 3DS line, or
which was doing really well at the time.
We let it die and focus on what our next big thing is that's going to bring us, more consumers. And I think that's where Switch took over, because they were like, well, this thing's going to be handheld and a console, so we can't really have two handhelds competing with each other.
Definitely.
But I get what you're saying, because it was just such a small increment, a small change that could have easily just been a modular situation. Like if they would have made a legit, first party C stick that you could just clip in, like at some point,
And this applies to just about every major console. Like I said earlier, with the PlayStation 4 versus the PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One versus Xbox One X, you know what I mean? And I'm sure at some point in the future we'll get some kind of Switch XL or some shit, you know what I mean?
God, yeah.
It's a Switch HD TV.
Jesus.
70-inch Switch.
Oh man, and I felt bad that I debated buying a new 3DS way longer than I should have, just for Minecraft. Like, I don't know what the deal is with me sometimes, but I was just like, yeah, Minecraft, like I would love to play that under my covers at night.
It's not good though. It's the iPhone version on the 3DS.
I took some time. I took some time and just lurked around Reddit and saw what people were saying, and I was like, it's really not worth it to buy another 3DS just to play this or any other new 3DS exclusive. I just didn't see it. I was kind of heartbroken that Nintendo didn't say, look, guys, we're not going to upgrade the 3DS anymore, like XL, and that's it. Like, but why don't we wring every last drop of optimization and graphical, like know-how from our developers and really get everything that we can get out of this system before the Switch drops. And I do feel like for the most part they did that. I just like the hardware updates for the new 3DS, like it wasn't enough to push me into a sale.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's what a lot of people are starting to feel, is that these small incremental changes with each console leap it's not a big enough leap to equal out to the price. I mean, especially the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, it's like these are basically the same consoles with better, just a little bit
slightly better.
Yeah, and
because it still looks great on the normal.
It does.
Consoles, I mean,
unless you're like a tech hound or something,
right? Like
you don't care.
Or if you're really into VR with the PlayStation end of things, I think it does make quite a bit of difference when it comes to the virtual reality end of things. I
could see that.
Yeah,
but it's like, why do these small little incremental changes whenever we could just do a modular platform, which I'm sure they have the technology to do,
That's another thing that modular, things would be great for is VR. If you had a VR headset where you could, switch the screens out for higher resolution screens, better, lenses
Dude,
that go, over your eyes in the perfect position,
Yeah, so this extends so much further beyond, like how can we fix PlayStation, Like that's a really cool idea, like modular headsets for VR. Yeah. I hadn't considered that.
I think that's the future. I think David Stanley, this idea that you've come up with completely on your own is what's going to take us to the future. No, but I really think either we're for certain the digital age is upon us. Soon you will have to have internet to even access any of your games, but we also need our consoles to evolve with that. That's kind of that was just really the conversation we wanted to have. It was very interesting, actually, to think about it on that level, because I always hear about it and I always read about it, but I never really just like critically think like what could they do instead of what's happening right now. Or
when you are on the cutting edge, riding that wave into the future as a company, like everyone is judging you, and it's really, really difficult to know what is the best, what you're doing now. Like, how do I make this the best thing for the entire industry moving forward? And I see the same problem with Facebook and social media. It's like, oh God, like a ton of fake Russian-based accounts are coming up on Twitter and maybe influence the election in some way. Like, we didn't even know this was going to be a problem, but now that we know it, we're doing everything we can to future-proof ourselves so that this doesn't happen again. We're kind of like writing the rules as we go, because there is like no precedent for social media, the internet, or really like the console gaming market, like in the way that we've seen it, with the rise of the internet.
Yeah, it's the new frontier, man.
It is. I'm scared, but very hopeful.
Yeah, same. Well, thanks for coming on and having a nice chat with us, man.
Dude, this was a blast. Thank you so much.
It's always great talking to you, David.
We got to do this more often. Just have like the random like David Stanley episode where it comes on.
I like that. We need to have David Stanley Day this day every year.
Jesus.
Man, little technical difficulty there if that cut out on you guys. But basically what we figured out is this was fun, and David Stanley is going to be doing future episodes with us about science and ideas that he comes up with on his own.
Absolutely. Random things that I get really angry about when I'm in the shower. And I'm like, I need to tell the world about this.
I must go speak.
Just have like a little animated intro where he just like jumps out the shower and like hops in a spaceship and like flies over.
Like in a rocking chair with an angry face. Darn kids and their Fortnite.
But yeah, well, thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely.
We hope to talk to you soon. Okay, we're back from the topic of the show.
Wow, that was a great interview. Always wonderful to have David Stanley on the show.
It is, man. Yeah. I can't wait to have him on more. I love talking with him just about like random things. Anyways, y'all need to go check out Skelattack for sure. I know he's got a demo up, or like I don't want to be misspeaking right now because we didn't focus this one all around his game, but I'll post a link to it on the site. So like if you want to test it out and see.
Just be careful because it's like Skelattack because you'll get addicted.
I like that. Yeah. We should be doing the marketing over there. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so we're going to jump into the People's Champ. And
yes, the champion of the people.
Brent's going to tell us who the champ is.
We've only got one question this week, but it's a good one. So he's he's the champ. David Stanley, the guest on our show,
is the champion. This is the David Stanley.
Oh wait,
episode.
No, just kidding. We have two questions, but you know what? David Stanley still gets the nod.
The David Stanley episode.
This is just the David Stanley episode. So congrats, David. He says, Brent, how much do you think Pokemon's Red, Blue, Celadon City Game Corner influenced your modern IRL love of casinos? Also, did you ever get that Porygon? the answer to your question is yes, I got the Porygon. And the other answer to your question is I think it might have had a little bit to do with it. You know, another thing I think influenced greatly my love for casinos is like my love for arcades as a kid. I feel like it's a lot like being in an arcade.
Man,
you know
you
what I
are
mean?
fueling this. Okay, so and I don't mean you, David. But there was a thing on the internet where people were like, "Are we really teaching our kids to become, addicted to game?" Like, and they were talking about arcade games and stuff, saying that it was causing the addiction.
Well, maybe. I'm not saying like. But I mean,
ban all arcade games.
I'm not saying ban all arcade games, but I'm saying there's definitely some parallels there.
I'm gonna clip that part out where you say I'm not saying, and I'm just gonna have you say ban all arcade games. There are some parallels there.
No, but there are. I mean, if you think about it, like especially the games where it's like an Xbox in the fucking thing, and you have to stack up 5 hoops and you get an Xbox, like that's just.
I wouldn't call that an arcade game though. That's like a crane game.
There are some games in casinos that are literally the same games as arcade games.
Yeah.
Like the one that pushes the fucking thing through the hole.
Little key through the
keyhole.
That's not an arcade game, dude.
It is an arcade game.
No, because you can't play that with like your arcade card.
Well,
you have to
in
pay
arcades,
with cash on those.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, all I'm saying is if it's in an arcade and it's a game.
But they're also the shady machine that you'd find in the back of a gas station.
I'm not saying it's like the ideal game to go play. You know what I mean? But it is an arcade game. And even if we want to take it to like a level of like, okay, Area 51 or something like that. Something that is definitely a game.
A quarter,
you know what I mean?
A quarter consumer.
Yeah, a quarter consumer. So like, the idea that you have to like pay if you die, and keep playing, like there's incentive there still. Even if it's just emotional or like,
It's pay to play.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's a part of you, every time you stop playing one of those games, there's a part of you that's like, I would love to keep playing right now, but
yeah,
I don't have enough quarters in my pocket. You know what I mean? Like,
and also the score keeping. Like it's like, oh, I want to have the best score.
Exactly. You want to have your score displayed to the world when that high score thing pops up at the end. You know what I mean?
So
you want it to say ass or whatever.
Yeah, dude. I still do that sometimes. Like whenever I go to the arcade over at the place that I told you about. But anyways, it's in Spring. Game Reserve, Game Preserve. Yeah, I like to do that on there.
No, but I do think the Pokemon gym, and it kind of sucks because I think that people behind Pokemon realize that because if you go play the new Pokemon, they took it out.
Which Pokemon?
The Game Corner, the Let's Go Eevee.
Oh yeah, didn't they change it into something else?
No, it's there, but they're like all our machines are down right now or something.
Oh, that's all bullshit. They could have put something else there.
I was like, you fucking assholes! Like y'all couldn't have even like replaced it with like a less casino-y type game or something, and you're just like, nah, fuck it, we're just not. Nobody's playing. Sorry, but you know what's fucked up is like they're like the machines are down right now, but all the people that are like sitting at the machines in the old game are still sitting at the machines, like they're sitting there playing. Like, it's like if the machines are down, take the people out of the fucking casino. Like it doesn't make sense.
Make it like a ghost town.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Anyways, so thanks, David Stanley, for being the
champ,
the champion.
Great question.
And what's the second question?
So we have Charles Chastain here. He says, how do you feel about the leak? How do you feel about the leaks about the Blizzard layoff? Must have sucked having that sword over their head all weekend. More to the point, were the journalists responsible justified in printing the story when they did, or should they have kept the lid on it until the layoffs actually happen? I personally think, these people deserve to know.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, maybe it sucked, knowing maybe ignorance is bliss. But, I think it's better that they had a chance to prepare for the worst instead of just being blindsided by it one day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely. The whole thing is scummy, in my opinion. Like,
agreed.
Like the fact that they broke records, like they're
record-breaking year. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're going to, because, and it sucks because that's how capitalism works. You know what I'm saying? That is just the way it is. Like they got their money but they were all contracted or employees underneath this company, and this company has the right to do whatever it wants or whatever it sees fit, especially since they provided severance pay and all that bullshit.
Yeah, but I think his question is less about like the company's actual motive in doing it and like the journalists that leaked the story before the week. You know what I mean?
If that's if that's the only question, I think like that's their job. The journalists are supposed to,
Yeah, I mean it's a big story. It's breaking news.
Pretty big news. 800 layoffs.
Yeah.
And
I don't think they're necessarily hurting those people by like saying this. No. I mean, again, it might be emotionally taxing. Yeah, but if anything, it does help.
Because wasn't it Jason Schreier who announced it? I believe it was somebody like Jason Schreier.
Well, and like you were saying, the publicity that this has gotten has like also kind of led to other publishers like reaching out, developers reaching out and saying, hey, come work with us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it might be a good thing in the long run,
It's definitely a good thing. Like once Twitter, picks up on it, then you have all of these developers and publishers reaching out and being like, hey, if you guys are looking for a job over here, and like they're taking people that got laid off,
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, so thanks for that question, Charles.
Yeah, it's a good one.
What do we got?
Is
that it?
That's it?
Okay, so that's it. We're going to jump on over to This Week in Gaming History, where I try to guess what happened in history, because that's what this has turned into. But
okay.
I like it. I like doing it.
So these are both going to be real hard to guess.
Okay.
So get your thinking cap on.
My thinking cap's on.
We got February 22nd, 2002 for the original Xbox.
February 26th?
22nd.
22nd, 2002. So this was about like a year into the Xbox life, I think, right?
Yeah, I want to say this came out on other platforms maybe a little earlier. I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's not an Xbox exclusive.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
What kind of genre are we talking?
Ooh, that's hard to say. Let's just say there's roller skates involved.
Oh, Jet Set Radio. Or Jet Set Radio Future.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. You were really close. But you got it the second time. So yeah, that was February 22nd, 2002.
Okay, what else we got here?
February 20th, 2007 for the Xbox 360.
Genre.
This is an open world, a sandbox game.
Oblivion.
No, not like that.
Oh, okay.
Think Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, Saints Row. 2007? Was it Mafia? Crackdown.
Yeah.
Okay. I just name every single game that's like that until we get to it. I was thinking we should do like a thing where like I just like whenever we do the games coming out this week, I just say the title and then you just give me a summary of what you think the game is about.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Because there's so many stupid
I bet I
games.
could get close on a lot of them.
It's like but yeah, anyways, remember guys, you've been listening to GameSpeak Podcast courtesy of createforsanity.com. The show posts for free every Wednesday on all podcast directories. Be sure to submit any questions you want read on the show to GameSpeak Podcast Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/GameSpeak Podcast. Check out our video content on YouTube if you're not already watching it there. All you have to do is search Create for Sanity. It's all one word. And if you want to stay up to date with your boys, you can find me on Twitter at the handle @JoffreyJamel and Brent at BrentHas1, and that's the number 1. And check out the GameSpeak Podcast Instagram